All right, we'll go ahead and pick up here on section 4, and excuse me, so. I guess that's about right. Okay. Liability of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debt incurred for payment of pension and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection and rebellion shall not be questioned, but neither the United States or any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in the aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss of emancipation of any slave. But all such debts, obligation, and claims shall be held illegal and void. Anybody got a question on that before they start? Anybody want to say anything? See, I want you explain something to me, Doc, on this thing. It says right here, validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law. Now, what law are they talking about here that he's got in red there? What law? Authorized by what law?
They were given the obligation to make laws for the validity, showing the validity of the public debts of the United States, including the debts incurred for payment of pension and that sort of thing, and make laws, and also to make them available to the people of the United States. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law. The public debt, the debt that you have has to be authorized by law. That's what they're saying.
Public debt? Okay.
Authorized by law. They're just repeating.
But who made the law, though? That's what I don't
They make the law.
Who is they?
The Congress.
Okay.
They make the law.
But now, can they, this debt, I got a question about the debt. Let's see
All
what
right.
it say about the debt. Here, public debt.
Yeah.
But who owes that debt? They're not talking about the national debt here, are they?
Well, they talk about anything that you grab, man. We're out here, we're searching for you.
Doc, it says the United States, and don't add the rest of it in the individual states.
That's right.
It says the United States. Wouldn't that mean it would just be for the District of Columbia
That's right.
Corporation?
That's what you'll find. But people have assumed everything, see?
See, all
That's
of
what he's
these,
doing. That's just all this is just an assumption.
yeah.
You see, when you go into Article 19, Clause 4, 9, I think. You will see that it's got for the debt there. But the thing that's strange there, you have to be reading very carefully. It doesn't say anything about no public debt. So, but the thing that's most grabbing, what you can there is that it tells you in the first beginning that they were supposed to tell you about the public debt and publish it. Here they're still in revenue. Say you don't even have, you can't even question it. I can do anything I want. That's all they're saying to you. They can do anything they want, but all this thing is supposed to be, all these amendments were supposed to be for the freed slave. But now they're hooking everybody into it, and nobody's questioning it.
What they're doing here in this 14th Amendment, I'm telling you, it looks to me like they're putting every one of these sections in this thing is to put a spin on the original article, which I think all of them so far have been Article 1. That's the 14th Amendment that's trying to put the spin, trying to change. And says, shall not be questioned. Now, you know.
Yeah. 9 and 6, it said, no money shall be drawn from the treasury where in consequence of appropriation made by law, and a regular statement and account of the receipts and expenditure of all public money shall be published from time to time. That's what it says in 1:9.
So, what, now, I can understand that they're talking about in Article 1, say.
Okay.
I mean, I understand that. But this debt right here, if you're talking about the national debt, I got a question. I don't think the sovereign citizen owes that national debt.
Well, they never said that, but they've never said that you owe the debt.
Yeah, but you're trying to make you think it.
Well,
But
they're not trying.
That's
They're not trying. We wouldn't have this class tonight if they were trying. All the things that one or two people can get upset about, heavens of blessing, they're doing that every day. You know, oh yeah, they took away you can't even ask about the public debt. It's some stuff I can tell you about that public debt that you wouldn't believe. So,
But see, they're talking about here the corporate United States debt. I don't think the sovereign citizen, the state citizen, owes that national debt, do we?
it didn't say that in Article 5. Article 4 it says, full faith and credit shall be given to each state for the records. And so that we're not talking about the credit of the people, it's the credit of the United States. It says of the United States. Of the United States.
Now what does that mean?
That means just of that. That's the name of the government.
Well,
That's their debt. They don't borrow from us. They don't. They get that. They can get that money from the states maybe when they assess them for taxes. But all of these things here, I mean, it's a great game. I mean, you miss the point. Look, don't miss the point. Now, I don't know anybody. What I'm trying to say, we are trying to show you that the intent we've gone over. That was the first 7 articles. Now, what has happened here is we can't do anything about it. I'm showing you from the beginning what you had. Now, on the other half of these amendments, I'm showing what they took away. Now, whether good, bad, or indifferent, that is. Now, you can say, oh, they ain't got no business doing the heavens of Betsy. Oh, really? It is none of thing in here that you can prove to me that they had any business doing. That's all I'm saying. But we can't stop at each one and say, oh, man, they had no business doing that. You see? What I'm saying is, if we want to get mad, say, man, they took all our gold. Nah, that's time to go get mad. But every point in here, from where Gene is talking about here, taking the debt, oh yeah, and they pass it on to the citizen, listen. If you think that's wrong, watch this. There is no contract in history that I can write you up, say you owe me some money. And then I take that same contract and hold your kids responsible for your debt. And they tell you every day on television, we leaving this debt to our kids. And everybody say, yo, and you hear citizens come right behind and say, well, we don't want to relieve all this debt to our kids. Yeah. You see? You see what I mean? I said it over and over. If I just had 40 people who's just dumb and willing just to give to me, God, I'd be a happy man.
Rich dude.
But do you see what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Here's a guy who's saying all those things to you, and you just...
Let me bring up one more point, Doc. Down about the middle of that thing, it said on the section 4, but neither the United States nor the state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in the age of insurrection. Okay, they clarified insurrection and rebellion against the United States as a debt, but they didn't clarify the debt up at the front, top.
Yeah.
They gave it a general, one place they gave it a general verb, and the other place they...
That's right.
Yeah.
They clarified.
That's good point.
That's right. That's how bad this 14th Amendment always talks about. It's bad. And I've read some historians talk about how bad it was written. It was a hurry up job, man. They were angry with the South, foaming.
Anybody got any other questions about this thing? Walt? Eric? Well, I'll go ahead and read this section 5 here. The Congress shall have the power to enforce by approaching legislation the provisions of this article.
Now, so again.
But where do they get their authority from?
They're taking it. Everything they're taking from us. Because we're sitting back and not saying what, because we haven't read this. We've done this the way of the Bible.
Okay. All right.
They don't understand it.
Now, but Congress don't have the power, don't have the authority to enforce that thing. Do they?
No, but this is what they're saying. They don't have any of that authority. What they are saying is, they are saying this. No matter what I want to do with this, I can write a law and make you enforce it. And that's totally against the Constitution. Otherwise, I can write a law for anything I want. That's what they're saying. According for this section, that amendment, I can write any law I want to. In other words, if I write to you that my citizens can fly the airlines free, you better let them fly. You see what I'm saying? That's what they mean there. I can pass any law. Only way that law will be done, you have to challenge it. And nobody had.
Well, you know, now Congress can make laws, all right, for federal citizens, 14th Amendment citizens, but they cannot make laws for us. They make statutes or whatever, but if you want to voluntarily get caught in them, you can. Come on.
Federal courts are the power behind the Congress when Congress legislates something, but the Congress cannot pass laws. They have to go through the federal courts on their laws. They legislate only.
Let me ask you
all
something.
federal.
Let me ask you something. Where does federal courts get that they can make laws? They cannot make laws to govern the people, not the state citizens.
They can't make the laws, they enforce the legislation that the Congress passes.
Well, it don't affect us, though.
No, it don't affect it.
Okay. I thought you meant, okay.
No.
Yeah. See, the people has to make the laws. They
People
cannot
have to
make
make
laws to affect us. Only the people can make the laws. It has to be voted on by the people. They just can't just make a law. If they could have done this, they'd have called everything laws.
Doc, was a person left out, purposely left out of this? The
State citizens?
state citizens.
Oh, yeah.
Were they purposely left out of this?
All the state
citizens. If you
citizens.
just read over this thing, where it says citizens here, most people think it's them. It's not. It's not them. This whole 14th Amendment is about federal citizens and trying to enslave us all under contracts and make us all 14th Amendment citizens. That's what they're trying to do. Citizens in there does not mean state citizens. Come on, Jim.
May I read something here?
Come on, Jim.
This is in regards to the law of the land. It says the general misconception is that any statute passed by legislator bearing the appearance of law constitutes the law of the land. The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any statute to be so valid must be in agreement. It is impossible for a law which violates the Constitution to be valid. This was upheld in a court case, Mayberry versus Madison, 5th U.S. 137, 174, 176, dated 1803. And it says, all laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. As far as I know, that case site has never been overruled, and this is a 1803 case site.
See, they're talking about state citizens there now. Now they can make statutes. They can do anything they want to with their own people. So if you get caught up in that trap, they can do with you what they want to. I mean, if you own somebody, say, and that's what they do, they're trying to own us all, then they can do with you whatever they want to do, like slaves. You know, if you own them, you tell them to go out there and jump that ditch, you got to jump the ditch, you know, whatever. But they can do with you whatever they want to, is what I'm trying to make. Anybody else have anything about the 14th? Anyone 14? Doctor, you got anything to say on that 14? Let me read some little something I wrote down. You know, if you don't agree, I'm talking about to the people in there. If you don't agree with the way you represented or represent you or not represent you, then people are going to have to get involved. They're going to have to take a stand and say, hey, you know, enough's enough. But we have to get people educated and have to get these people involved in what's going on and let them know what's going on, or we can never do it. These people, we're arguing, we're fighting. They're organized. Now I'm telling you, they got theirs together. And here we are out here, one against an they're the best organized, the best equipped, the best well-oiled machine that was ever put together. And here we are, one man trying to fight this whole system. We have to get people involved and get educated, or we're never going to turn this thing around. And it's not about law. This whole thing we're fighting, I don't think, is about law or about this law or that law or this form of government, that form of government. I think it's about good and evil. I think that's what we're fighting. Now, I really believe that's really what it's all about. Now, let me read this. The people are the kings and queens. They are the representatives up there are the servants, like Dr. was saying a while ago. And if they won't listen to you, if you can't make them listen, then we can file charges on them, which some people have been doing now, on these liens and one thing and the other. And it's a little bit effective too. Sure have effect in some places. Like in Montana out there for one. But anyway, and just like we've always said, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. So, you know, you've got to change. Somebody has to make a change. If you don't like it, make a change. And this Constitution, I'm going to tell you, it should be taught in every school. In every school, it should be taught. I mean in its entirety. I don't mean just how to get laws through Congress or something and let it go at that. But I'm talking about you should not be able to graduate from high school if you do not know this Constitution the way we know it right here today. See, the way Doctor has been teaching us this Constitution. And I really think that's what it's, and we need to get it back in these schools. Let's see. And that should be mandatory for grade, should not, and it should know it in depth, the way we're trying to learn this thing. And not only that, but see, and I think it should be shouted and hollered from every pulpit in this country. Right? Okay? I think these churches, so-called churches, should be raising up. They sure give them enough reason to. And this thing ought to be just talked about every Sunday in that pulpit. Why aren't they doing it? Because they're under a contract. There's only about 5% of the churches left in the world, probably 5, maybe 5%. The rest of these so-called churches, as we all know, coming under this 501c3, and that's coming straight out of Title 26 of the Internal Revenue Code. And it don't say, Title 26 don't say anything about churches. It says religious organizations. Okay? Now, we can be out here worshiping voodoo on this corner and be a religious organization. The churches come under 508, right? That takes care of the churches. But they come under 501c3, which is corporations, schools, a lot of things come under 501c3. But they come under that to get tax exempt, supposedly tax exempt status, and they've caught them under a contract. What we have to do is break these contracts. And as old as I am, and most people in here, we could fight, I think, the rest of our lives trying to get out from under a contract, because they keep throwing more traps to you out there all the time. They always throwing another trap, another trap, another trap. And if you do it trying to get out this contract and that contract, you can't live long enough to do it. I think what we need to do, Ben's doctor showed us on this 14th Amendment that it never was properly ratified in the first place. Do away with the 14th Amendment and it would free us all. I mean everyone from these contracts. Now when you take a contract, let me read something here that it come out of the alcohol beverage code, okay? Now, this is a code, it's not a law. They can't make laws, but they got codes they go by. All these IRS got codes, electricians got codes, everybody got a code, but they're not laws. Refusing inspection, section 101.04, consent to inspection. By accepting a license or permit, a holder consents that the commission, an authorized representative of the commission, or any peace officer may enter the licensed premises at any time to conduct any investigation or inspect the premises for the purpose of performing any duty imposed by the code. Right? Now, they can do that because you've got a license or a permit and you're letting them do it. You're coming under the authority and the jurisdiction of the 14th Amendment. It's a contract, is all it is. Now it says a person who fails to refuse to comply with this requirement of this code or a valid rule of the commission violates the code. So then they can arrest you or whatever. You know? But it's in every contract. We always talk about contracts a while ago. Jim was talking about contracts. License, say, marriage license, driver's license, and every kind of license there is, okay? But now marriage license, people don't understand how they can take your kids. They do it because you have a license. A license does not make you married. Right? You just as much married without a license as you are with one. I mean, you can go out there on this old tugboat and go out to 3 Mile Limit, whatever it is, and that old captain on there married you. He probably married for a 12-pack, you know. You're still just as married whether you got a license or not. License, all you're doing is put authority over you, that's all. Like any other license, driver's license, hunting license, fishing license, any kind of license. Well, that's all I have to say. And I'll shut this thing down if nobody has any more questions. Let's go ahead and talk about the 15th.
About 16?
15.
Oh, 15?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Let me see if I can find 15 here. Let's see what you got. The 15 and this way. Now let's see. Let's see what. Who's going? Anybody want to talk about 15? Let me just read and see what it said. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, previous condition, or servitude. Wait a minute. I don't need this sentence here. If you had put it in number 13, that I was free. In other words, you are building me by arm, leg, and eye. Here, you're telling me that the right of the citizens of the United States, which we've already identified, have a right. Now you're giving them something else. Now I'm giving you a right to vote. Vote for what? Tell me that. You better give me this. The right to vote. For what and for whom? The only people that we can vote for according to the original Constitution is what? For representative. Why would I need to vote for representative? I haven't been out of slavery long enough. I just got it in 1960. What am I doing back in 1800? Giving me the right to vote. I can't vote for nobody. So strange thing happened here. What did it do? It's taking away here, excuse me, it's taking away states' rights. You see how it's just a little bit at a time. This is taking away your state's right. The state's rights give these people the right to, people in their state, the right to vote for what? For the representative. But now here you're saying, citizens of the United States, the right to vote. Now where this vote is coming in on you now. Before you electors and electors vote. Now I'm getting this plan in your mind. Vote, 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 vote. You're not thinking about it. That's going to, the electors is going to finally kind of drown itself out. We're going to call you electors, but you actually voted. So we're going to go briefly through this. The Congress shall have power. Here we go again. We're talking before. Does anybody want to talk about the 16th? Or any question about 15th?
On that 15th,
Okay.
You don't say how long they have to be a citizen either, do they? That's when they, just United States citizen of the United States.
The right of United States citizen, I'd write to vote.
So when they brought them in the other day to vote for the president, well, you know, they was only here just, a month or two, they went to vote. Anyway, I just want to make that little point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because they said you have to,
Back in the original article, you had to be a citizen for so long and, whatever.
you have to, it says that you have to be a citizen in order to be a vote elector. You must have the same prerequisites as the people who are running for office. If your state representative have to be a citizen in this country or in this state for 3 years, then so do you. That's what he's talking about. So what he's saying is, if that's still on the book, how can you get somebody to swear in today and vote for you as president tomorrow? See? And that's what you can't do it. That's why they put that in the Constitution. These people got you believing that the founding fathers were ignorant. They were very awfully smart. And they were saying this: why would I let you come over here and you become a citizen and you have all the rights to vote and you don't even know the country yet? If you think I'm lying, look at some of these people on this highway. And let them drive by you sometime to see if they got it right yet. So this is what they wanted. They wanted you to have time to stay. That's why they said, that's why they put the time limit on being a representative here. They put it right here. 25 years old and so many years here, they'll be president. So many years here, senator. That's president. You see? That's why. They didn't want you to come in. Hey man, you can't come here from Russia, swearing to be citizen tomorrow and run for president tomorrow or vote. You see? It's the same thing. That's what they're talking about. See, now,
In other words, Doc, you're saying that this motor voter registration they had was wrong.
it violates the Constitution. Let me just say, you brought up another good point there, Jim. Now, listen, what does voter do? What does being a voter do for you? Oh, no. What does that do? I'll tell you what it does. It makes you a constituent, and a constituent means that you have given the person that you vote for the power of authority over you.
That's the reason that the president is the king.
And he, brother, he is, the way the system is set up now, he is. The only reason he's laying quietly now, because he didn't have 51% of the vote. If he had, he'd have been acting king, and the word that he would have used would be, I have a mandate. And they all understand that. And brother, it means this, that 51% can kill off the 49. That's, believe it or not, if he had got that, he'd have been living like a king. And whether, I don't care what the party is in that house, they were going to respect that 51%. But what they're missing, that only 49% of the American people vote. Did I mention that to you?
Are you trying to tell us, Doc, because of this 51%, that we're not really using a Republican form of government, that we're in a Democratic form of government?
That's exactly right. And that's all you're going to hear them say. All you're going to hear them say, this is democracy. They're getting paid to do that. This is democracy. Maybe they don't know any better. I'd say that. This never was meant to be. What is a republic? We have a constitutional republic, which means that you put your representative up to represent you. Now, what happens? What's the first step they did to tear it down? We're going to see on the 17th. They took the authority. Everybody has to be represented. You see? Represent the people. The Senate represent the state. You see? Everybody has to be represented. They took out the states. The president are supposed to be represented by all of the people, and we put out representative electors to elect him.
And both representatives and senators are supposed to represent the Constitution.
Who?
I said our electors are supposed to represent the Constitution also.
That's exactly right.
Whether it be the representatives or the Senate.
That's right. So once we get it back to this, what we're talking about, to the original Constitution, that's why I try to rush through these amendments. They don't strike a ting in my heart very much. I just want people to see what has happened from what they had. I don't want to hear all these people out on the street talking about what we gonna take back when they don't even know what they had. That's just ludicrous as they're living now. The 16th Amendment. Was anybody gonna talk about that?
Well, Jerome, but he's not here. Jerome couldn't make it.
But I'm gonna go through these so that we can get a gist of it and an overview. Because, like I said, I don't think too highly of all these amendments, but I'm gonna try to point out just some of the highlights if I may. The 16th Amendment, the Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on income. First of all, incomes has never been defined in the code. From whatever source derived, they say that source is, if your money makes money, that is the source. Now that's what I've been told. Without apportionment among the several states, without regard to any census, or now that's trying to do away with amendment back there. And supersede, is that a word? Supersede. They use that word supersede. What is that? You can't have no two laws on the book and talk about one superseded. You got to either repeal it or do it or take it off the book. Two laws, when you have two laws on the books at the same time, the power always takes rule over it. Ask any of your smart lawyers. So this is still on the book, and we got enough Supreme Court case. I don't want to do it with that Pollock or something and all, and they said this didn't change a thing. Pollock versus some of the farmers, the loan firm, but you all know that. But read up on this, and you go and see what the courts have said about it, and you will find this question. Look, if this was such an income tax amendment, why are they talking about changing? They're not talking about changing. They're not talking about an amendment. They got Archie up there talking about they got flat tax, they got low tax. If this was logical, they would be talking about amendments. You see? Like I hear them talking about now, the amendment thing, we need this. We can't balance the budget. Listen, my dear brothers and sisters, what do you mean you can't balance the budget? You can balance the budget Monday morning. All it takes is 51% of the people present. Right there in the House of Representatives. House of Representatives, oh yeah, we got only the Republicans up there, haven't we? They have the majority, 218 people can cut out that budget tomorrow. Tomorrow. And that's what we can use. We can't get this passed. The state of Texas balanced theirs with 51%. That's a gain, but I don't know. But that's just my point. And that if you read all the cases, you'll find, I think what I'm telling you is true. Now let's go to this one here. This one here is the 17th. We've talked about this, 17th Amendment, Clause 1. Now we've changed this. Watch this. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators. So that sounds right. From each state, elected by the people there. Now I'm doing the change. I'm telling you what you got to do. I become the king. You created me, and like Frankenstein, I take over. Now I'm Frankenstein. Now I want the people electing me. Whereas for 6 years, I got that sound right nice like it was before. And he still had one vote. It's still saying, boy, I'm stuck this on. This elector, look there. I'm sneaking this in on you like you still alive. I'm using electors in 6 years, 1 vote. And each state shall have the qualifications. See, I'm making it sound like it was old age. The qualifications, the same requisite that I talked about, as for electors of the most, in other words, I'm still making it sound like, you know what I just said? It says the qualifications, the electors must have the same qualifications that's required for those electors of the numerous branches of the state legislature. If the state legislatures have to be 3 years, so should these people who vote for it. That's what we explained earlier. Now the second part, that has changed. You understand? That changed over there in Article 1, Section 3.
Now, Doctor, can I ask what you want to argue in Section 1 there?
Yes.
Is that when we went from a democracy to a republic, I mean, from a republic to a democracy?
That's just one of the steps. We got another one to do, to have to complete. We have to get the president now, we'll change him.
Okay, I just wanted to.
That's one of the steps there, because, see, this is what happens. If they was going to do something to you that the states didn't like, they could not have passed NAFTA, because if 80% of the American people was against it. And for example, the state of Texas would have put pressure on their representative, and the representatives who sent people up there would have called them home, wouldn't have let them vote. That's what they mean by that representation. They sent them up there, they could call them back and not allow them to vote. They can't do that now. That's how they pass these treaties and stuff. They go in the back rooms and pass them. But they're not answerable to nobody. For 6 years, I saw a guy before I left home. Oh, he's talking smart now. He one of our guys that we love from the other down south here. Oh man, he used to be a protector of foreign thing. Now he just went through another election, got 6 more years, might be his last 6, and he's talking about giving away candy stores. What happens is these people here, they don't even talk about you and on your side until 1 year before that next election. Then that's when the next election they love you so much. And then after that, they come back in and start doing what they want to and let you forget for 4 years, and then they start campaigning last 2. This is the best job in the world to have. You know, $100 and some thousand, you got $250,000 your first term. More than that, isn't it? $100 and some thousand a year for 6 years. Wow.
Over $500,000.
Almost 3/4.
Well, that's just what I'm saying. So you see, don't tell me about they got to spend more time raising money, but we have to wake up. Now, this only tells you same thing over with representation of any state in the Senate. The executive has the right to issue a writ, what you call a vote, replace him or her. They can also, that's when the governor can hold election. Now, let's see what it says here. This amendment shall not be so construed or interpreted to affect the election or term of the senators that's already in office. In other words, all you other people, you still, the term or whatever, this is not going to affect them that's already in office. So you can still do what you've been doing until the next election. Now, what is this one? This one here is, wait a minute, what is that thing here? I don't know what that's saying, right? Now, they say, wow, after 1 year from the ratification of this article, oh Lord, watch it. This is the drinking article. Now, what are they doing to this right here? This is 18. Watch what they're saying. It doesn't seem like it's grammatically correct, but it sounds like someone's drunk. After 1 year from the ratification of this article, somebody's been drinking when you started off there. The manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within what? The importation thereof, or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territories subject to its jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. That's all right. They haven't said anything here about the states, has it?
No.
Not one thing. Okay. Now watch, let's see if this one makes any sense. The Congress and the Senate have concurred. In other words, all it's saying, trying to make the states think they in on it, is meaning that they have concurred power to enforce this article. Okay, if I got a post office here in Texas, and some of your postal employees come in there drunk, the state of Texas, they're saying, have a right to also enforce this by drinking. That's what I'm saying. So, but I want you to remember these things, because we're going to get back. Remember, like it says here, then when we get back over to repeal this, it's not going to even look like that. It's going to make it look like you were involved in this. But it clearly shows you what they're talking about from the United States and all the territories subject to its jurisdiction. And the state subject, certainly not subject to its jurisdiction. Yes.
Well, the question is on this 18th Amendment, since they felt it necessary to have an amendment to make a prohibition of alcohol, how come they didn't have an amendment to make drugs illegal?
Well, you had drugs, had a cartel who was making money and giving it to the government, the health care people. So you had a good, now let's see, now, this one here would have worked. This one here would have still worked. Do you know what changed this? You wouldn't believe it. Take my word for it. Somebody will say that I'm wrong, but try it then. What happened here, the jury stopped convicting. Do you follow me? Does that sound like something wild I'm talking about? When they bring these cases before the jury, they wouldn't convict them, running liquors and stuff. You follow me? That's the power of the jury right there. Now look, now remember that, so I want you to bring it up to me. When I get to when we repeal this, we say power, bring that power over jury, so I think again about something I got here. But remember that, I think that's why, no drugs, that's not our problem. The jury had this, jury did this, and the jury could do anything today. All right? Yes, sir.
That wasn't a civil problem at that particular time in history, was it?
What was?
Drugs.
No, it wasn't. You're right. It wasn't a problem like we're having today.
Well, has drugs really been a problem? I mean, drugs have been around ever since the beginning of time. I was studying Chinese history one time, where I was studying a book called 7 Years of Discovery. 7,000 Years of Discovery. And it was talking about 7,000 years ago what the Chinese did. And opium was one of they used to carry a little opium box with them. So, I mean, drugs is not new. It's just that the spin doctors have thrown drugs out into the limelight, and they're feeding them down the throats of our uneducated people that were educated in the public food system. And that's the reason why drugs is such a big issue right now.
Money being made on it.
Yeah.
And legalize it, it's not, let's cut out the money.
Right.
And we know who's flying them in the meanest of it.
This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified an amendment to the Constitution by the legislature. I'm telling you what to do now. Of the several states, as provided in the Constitution within 7 years. I'm putting a time limit on it now. So I'm showing you how I, the creature, is telling you what to do. And of the date of submission from that thing, 7 years. The legislatures, watch this. Now you're going to see this from here forward. Legislatures. That's what I want you to watch. I'm sure you do. Now let's see what it's going to say. I don't know what this one is. See, some I don't even know what it is. Now watch this one here, people. Here, I think I mentioned this one. The right of citizens of the United States, to vote, here we come again, shall not be denied or abridged by the United States by any state on account of sex. Citizens of the United States. Now, if you have volunteered, like Gene said, to be a citizen of the United States, then it's talking about it. And some of the people really talking about this. We got that organization, they go, oh man, we're somebody up here. And just reduce them to right here, citizens of the United States. They want it to be adopted as response. Now, Congress shall have power to enforce this with appropriate legislation. In other words, I can change anything here now about the voting of a different sex. Okay? It's different on account of sex. It's stressed a little bit now, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it means different things now. All right.
It tells them over there, don't it, Doc, in Article 1, all free people have the right to vote.
All free people, all free people, all free persons.
Didn't say nothing in there about sex, said all free people.
It said all free persons, and all free persons with capital letter means one man and a child. Now watch this, here we come with this president again. I don't know why, but for some reason, the term of the president and the vice president shall be in at 12 noon in January. Term of the Senate on the 3rd day of January of each year, which should have ended. You see, we're just doing things with the president. We're changing all these people like we want it. I haven't figured out why, but there's a reason you can be sure that the only truth I remember one president says that nothing happens in politics by accident. Now, the second section of this, the Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall begin at noon on the 3rd day of January, unless by law shall be a different date. Well, we talked about this one time before. Now here, we're meeting now in January. They were supposed to be like the second Monday in December for.
Correct.
Because they didn't have much to do. Now they stressed out why they can start in January and work the whole year. Boy. They are doing a beautiful job.
They wasn't supposed to work for what, like a couple of weeks, a month or something?
Yeah, something like that. It don't take that long, you know? They didn't have much to do. They're trying to find bills to pass. Anything they want to.
Job. It's job security.
Yeah. If at the time fixed for the beginning of the term of the president, here we go again, the president-elect shall die, vice president-elect shall become president. If the president shall not have been chosen before the time fixed for the beginning of the term, if the president-elect shall not have failed to qualify, then the vice president-elect shall act as president until a president shall have a new word. Who gave anything to talk about qualified? What do you mean qualified? We have put down to you all the qualifications needed to run for president. Now here they are, they're putting in to have qualified. And the Congress may by law provide for the case within wherein the president-elect or the vice president-elect shall have qualified, declaring who shall then act as president. If they are qualified, they will fix their own president. Or the manner in which one who is active shall be selected. And such person shall act accordingly until a president or vice president shall have qualified. Which I don't know, somebody's qualified now. And it's not you and I.
That might be the way to keep them in line. Right?
That's a good point, that's it. That's right. That's exactly right. Now, we're not through, they're not through. It's getting good. Something I don't know. Now watch this here. Now watch this 20. The other parts. The Congress may by law provide for the case. See, they keep putting this by law in here for this Congress.
Yeah.
They're making you believe that they can pass any law they want to. By law provide for the case of the death of any of the persons from whom the House of Representatives may choose a president whenever the right of choice shall devolve upon them, and for the case of the death of any of the persons from whom the Senate may choose a vice president, whenever the right shall devolve on them. This is to replace those people again, which is just a bunch of rambling on confusion. Section 2 and 3 should take effect on the 15th day of October, following the ratification of this particular amendment. Section 6, this article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of submission. They're putting this time limit on it. Question?
Section 5 there is very strange. It's the first time I've ever seen them where they've told it the day that it's going to come into effect before it was ratified. Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
That they already knew it was a done deal when they wrote it up?
Shall take effect on the 15th day of October following the ratification of this article. That is strange. That is pretty strange. Another thing is strange. Watch this. I just something else strange since you called that to my attention. Watch what else is strange. Maybe it's, yeah, I believe it's strange. See if it's strange to you. On this whole Constitution, we've been talking about common law. And common law always expresses its numbers not in numerical orders. Everything is written out in common law. I see a change there too. See, we can all learn a little bit every day, can't we? And that's going to follow. It's going to follow and go along. You see what we're doing? You see how they're doing? All this is beautifully done. Masters. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing that we're getting a little lighter. And a lot of people may not like it. You get this. This article shall be offered. I think we won't do that. Okay.
Well,
Question.
why would they put in operative unit, and they already above there, they said that they had, that thing's already gonna be on ratification, gonna be an article. Why would they come back and double talk themselves and they're not?
You're absolutely right. I have no idea. All of these things, I am so confused by these people. And when I compare it to the original Constitution and these people's writing, and they say that they are so much more intelligent than the founding fathers. It's just unbelievable. It doesn't make sense. You're absolutely right. I have no idea why, and I don't understand most of it. Now, what is it? Watch this one. Now, here it is. Oh, it is. Is this the one I've been waiting for? Watch, I told you to remind me of something. The 18th article of amendment to this Constitution of the United States is hereby
Bill.
the only place you're going to find that. Huh? Now watch this. Watch these sisters now. Here we go. Here it's repealed. Now they're going to explain to you what they repealed. And you see if it sounded like what they said was, go back and look at it sometime. The transportation or importation into any state, territory, or possession of the United States for delivery or use therein of intoxicating liquors in violation of laws thereof is hereby prohibited. That's good. Only thing is saying that to bring in this, move it through these states or territories, and these states, you know, because one, in territory, possession of the United States, that's good. It's hereby prohibited. Now, in Article 3, watch. This article shall be inoperative unless it has been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by what?
Convention.
Wait a minute. That's the first time I've heard of that.
That's a new one.
A totally new one. Why is it that they want the legislation on everything else and all of a sudden they want convention here? Why? Why do you think? I'll tell you why. Because you remember what I told you? Who made them repeal that?
The jury.
All right, the people.
People of the jury.
So they knew that the people, if the people wanted it, we give it to the people. This is the people. But this is the only place where they even offer by convention. If you are so right and believe in what's right, every time you propose an amendment, why don't you say, we're going to submit it to the people? Or why don't the people say, we'll amend? We sit up here, listen, most of the people, not us, we want that mandatory, this, that, the other. Call a convention. Have they forgotten that? Or maybe they don't know. Call a convention. And you can do anything you want. But now let me show you something. If you would start out and call a convention of all and get 3/4 of the states, what would I have to worry about? I'll tell you what I have to worry about. You may go up there and decide to change the Constitution like they did the Articles of Confederation, and all of these people, they lose their job, their pension money, and everything because we start over.
Right.
I can't let you take that chance with you. Huh? There's a man up in jail now, ain't he? But 17 months was a nice big congressman, well known.
Ross Kowski.
He's still, I read the other day where he's still drawing his check of $8,000 a month.
Hey. Yeah,
And he's
still
still going to draw that for life. All 34 people who've been sent out of the country still draw their retirement and their checks. What about the guy up there, the senator up there in Washington? Or wherever he's from?
Packwood.
What's his name?
Packwood. The scene of the scene of the state though, Doc, yes, it has to bring charges against him, no?
Yeah, you're right, but they didn't.
Well, I know, but that's who in Ross and County, see.
The state brought charge against him.
Uh-huh. But now, see, if we had one here in Texas to do that, then the people could say, hey, we ain't paying him. If we fire him, we won't give him his retirement.
And what, in the state of Texas?
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Oh.
the state has to do it, right?
Well,
If they're representative of the state, then the state has to bring the charges.
if we made the state represent us, everything would be all right. If you made the state, rather than us worrying about the presidents and all these other people, if you made the states do their job, everything would turn around. If you would make them do their job, now that's the bottom line. See, you can better, that's why it was placed this way. You can better control your state than a family way off someplace else.
Yeah.
They are supposed to do everything. We're supposed to control the representatives. That's it.
Yeah.
But, what is this? Here we go. President,
Yeah.
again, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. And no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which such person or elected president shall be elected to the office of president for more than once. They're overthrowing, not overthrowing, superseding something again. And we just sit back and say, the law is the law, but there's no change. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of president when this article was proposed by the Congress, and shall not befit any person who may be holding the office of president or acting as president during the term within which this article is inoperative from holding the office of president. That's really a self-explanatory. That's another option for the president. This article shall be inoperative unless it has been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by what?
Legislature.
Okay, I got these boys in my pocket. I don't know how you vote. I'm not going to give you a chance to vote on all these other things, see? So then you see where it's ratified. But that's where the game goes.
Take a break.
All right, great. We'll take a break and we'll come back and finish it up and get our last talking.
5 minutes.